Hey everybody, Main Brew Guy here. We are doing a product review of Omega Yeast OYL-91 Hornidal Kveik. Also, I'm going to do the Voss Kveik OYL-61. So this is a demonstration for the SJ Pour Challenge. Omega Yeast is sponsoring the SJ Pour Challenge this year. So they get a product review from one of their participants. Okay, Yakima Chief hops, we're using their Citra hops, and also thank you to Hopsteiner, which we're using their experimental X 10416 hops that I've had here, and also HBC 342. So those are the hops we're using. Those are the two yeast. I will split the batch. Let's get started. Okay, well, we filled that one, but I guess I ran out of battery for that last part. I'll switch the batteries and finish up, but that's going to be an enormous amount of grains. Ooh, that's going to be close. Alright, let's get started on this, and we're going to fill from the bottom. Okay. Oh, no we're not. Gotta do my water additions. Starts the official 60-minute boil. I have the fan on to keep it from boiling all the way. Oh, yep, gotta turn the fan back on. And that knocked it. Whoop, sorry about that. So the fan's kind of like, once it tries to rise above the top, the fan knocks it down. That way I can keep the boil rate right. Smell these. There we go. Sitting on top. I wonder how good this hop utilization is. Alright, 5 minutes left in the boil, and then we'll have a 20-minute whirlpool. Thank you again, Yakima Chief. 2 ounces. Beer facial. Wow. Fantastic. Half of the batch is in here, and the other half is in here. Hornidal Kveik in this one, and the Voss Kveik in this one. The rubber gasket stuck to the roof. It does that sometimes. I'll put an airlock on that in a moment. And then there's this one. I realized I sealed the lid down too soon, so I'm going to have to try to figure this out. Maybe I'll just cut the corner off so I can pour it more precisely. I already sprayed the scissors. like a champ. 4 hours later. I left for work this morning. This one was bubbling away like crazy. This one hadn't started yet, and it's bubbling away like crazy. So this was the OYL-61, and this was the 91. I believe it's done. It's crazy, but 24 hours? Okay, I forgot to mention that when I did my gravity read for the final gravity, I ended up at 1054, but with temperature correction brought me to 1056 because of the warmth, the temperature of the wort. So I close to hitting my numbers, but my yield was a little higher, so I probably ended up sparging more than I needed. But the second thing I did for test fermentation, rather than having to keep going back in, is I pitched the yeast and then the sample. And the reason being is because I wanted to try this, and I had never tried it before. I'm letting it ferment right in the sample. As you can see, it's fermenting. The last 24 hours, it's dropped to 1030. It looks like it's still fermenting. I did not sample that one. I sampled the Hornidal and Voss Kveik. Oh, that does smell good though. Yeah. It's crazy that it can ferment at best temperatures in South Florida and still give off really nice citrus orange aromas. So I added a little more fluid to the earlock, and it is still fermenting.
Okay, 36 hours later. See there.
So my test fermentation is pretty much done. I don't know if you can see in there. .012, it looks like. This is the Voss Kveik. This one was a little more foamy. We'll let that settle. Let's go pour the other one. A little less head on this one, just as much carbonation. Remember, that's the same recipe. All right, the Omega yeast test. This is the final product. This is 91, and this is 62. It'll be in the description or below the glass. I'll put it in the video feed. So the odd thing is that Voss and 91 are different clarity. They're both a little cloudy, a little hazy. Voss Kveik is more like a milkshake kind of consistency, and 91 is more of a, maybe a dirty pale ale. One of the weird things I did notice is the amount of head retention. I never would have attributed head retention to yeast, but these are both the same recipe, and I just didn't pour 5 gallons and then 5 gallons. I did like 2.5 gallons, 2.5 gallons, 2.5 gallons, 2.5 gallons, so that they got the the similar amount of trube or whatever you might want to consider being maybe a variant. That's different right off the bat. So let's go with Voss. So Voss is just huge blood orange notes, almost like overripe blood orange, and a bit of the rind, but that could be my hop selection. Let's go on the sniffer with 91. 91. It's got more of a citrusy less in the blood orange range and more in the orange, but maybe mixed with grapefruit, but a lot less. Yeah, it's just pungently like poof in your face. All right, so let's go with the taste. It does have that blood orange kind of
flavor too kind of follows through. A little drying on the end, not too bad. It's got a nice citrus flavor right all the way through. I think I paired it well with the hop selection. Maybe more for this one than this one. Although they're both supposed to be in the same kind of aromatic range. Even a little white grape. Let me get this sipped down a little bit so I can really swirl it up. More in the fresh orange, ripe red grapefruit range on this one. So what I noticed on this one, it's very aromatic, as I said, but it also has a little more yeast character to it in the aromatics. I believe that that's one of the byproducts of Voss Kveik, and that's what gives it its sort of flavor and aroma. Then it just rides a little bit on top of like a yeasty character, which is why it's probably more aromatic, but it does leave you with a little more yeasty feel to it. I don't know how else to explain it. 91 comes off a little cleaner. Just nice blend of, it's like a fruit basket, but it's all citrus. Maybe tangerine. Definitely more on the underripe side. And this one's definitely more on the overripe side. They're both great beers. I'm actually happy with the recipe as well. I probably wouldn't change a whole lot to this. They're not IPAs, they're just pale ales, and they're both extremely crushable. If I was to choose between the two, it's really hard. It depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a very aromatic, nose follows the palate, 62. If you're looking for nose follows the palate, but a lot less aromatic, it's there. It's in comparison. This is like volume on 5, this is volume on 10. That would probably lend to the more milkshake cloudiness that I'm looking at. Let me bring that into the camera. As you can see there, that's same beer, just a little different in the clarity. I think this is just making it a little lighter because it's more like in the milkshake range. It's great for me in Florida to have these Kveik yeasts. I have a fermentation chamber and I can do 10 gallons if I split them. But I like to use my 14-gallon fermenter, and I can use that in here in the middle of summer. These fermented, 89 to 93. Maybe one day we've got up to 94. So this is going to come down to personal preference, right? Blood orange, very much aromatic, follows the nose into the palate, much more yeasty content, a little cloudier. And this would be more on the ripe or close to overripe side of blood oranges or oranges, right? This one is subdued, present. The nose follows the flavor all the way through. If I was to choose one or the other, I would choose 91. It does not have to be like a complete aromatic bomb. It has to just have a good flavor and aroma, which this one does. This one is just boom. But it does leave a lot more yeasty character for me than I care in a pale ale. So 91. 91 wins the day. All in all, Omega Yeast, great job. I do love Voss. I've used it before. 91 I have not used before, and that's why I signed up to try this out. I'm glad I did. So 91 is now going to be part of my usable yeast catalog. Yeast that I'm familiar with now. So that's really what it boils down to. Sometimes you just want clean fermentation. And then sometimes you want a yeast that's really going to throw off a lot of phenolics. I would really want to try Voss Kveik and probably like a milkshake IPA, double IPA. Yeast phenolics in the hop aroma, and have it, make sure that you pick a hop selection that is, in the blood orange range as much as you can, unless you wanted to bring out some other citrus notes that sort of complement brings to the table. 91, great job on the yeast. Definitely use them. Highly recommend both. Again, choose the one you want for your style. All right, guys. Omega, thank you again. SJ Pour Challenge, product demo. Gonna crush the rest of this today and then dig into the next one. So remember, no one is smarter than all of us. Share knowledge and brew great beer.
Yeah.